Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, I'm going to touch on a topic I haven't covered here on the channel in probably a year or so because it's very important, and that is going to be artifact management. You can see that I'm at 1285 out of 1300. Very important to do this right because we always end up in a situation where we are constantly full. So I'm just going to talk about something you want to work towards doing to make this process a lot easier, and then talk about some different things to keep in mind as you are noting your artifacts and how to manage them properly. So let's get into it. Alrighty, now first of all, I've done probably hundreds of account takeovers for artifact cleanses, accessory cleanses, and people will come to me and be like, I'm full on my account, I'm 1300 on both my artifacts and my accessories, I need some help, I don't know what to do, will you go through and just clean it up for me? My inbox is full, back on my main screen, the mail is full, and I've got just tons of artifacts everywhere, I don't know what to do, will you help me out? I've done that probably hundreds of times at this point. And so, you know how you gear cleanse for somebody that is beginner, mid-game, or end-game is obviously very different. There's different parameters that you're setting when you are deciding if a piece is good enough to keep or not. So there are three things when I do a takeover that I look for right out the gate. First, I look at their account level. So for me, it would be a 100. Then I look at their account power, which for me would be 18 million. And then I go and I look for their fastest champion that can give me kind of a, like in terms of just getting an idea of someone's gear power on their account really quick in a few seconds. It's those three things. So for me, my fastest champion is around like 360 or something. So I would look account level, account power, and then fastest champion. And then I quickly have a grasp of, okay, this is the threshold of what should be good enough and what should be sold in terms of keeping on their account. But there was also something you're going to want to work towards on your account to make this whole process a lot easier. And that is getting every single piece that you're keeping upgraded to at least level 8. Now, this is going to be a project. This is not something you're going to go through and do today. This is going to be something you wait for, like a artifact enhancement event to be live during a CVC. You farm up a bunch of silver by doing the spider or something. You save up for a little bit and you slowly work towards this. This is not something you do overnight. But you can see if you scroll through my account, all of these pieces are upgraded to level 12, level 8 usually, and you want to go through and at least do level 8 because when you start getting picky about your pieces, you need to know how they roll. You can't possibly know if a piece, you start hitting a threshold where you have to be so picky that it does come down to how it rolls. Just seeing what stats are on a piece is not good enough. You need to see, does this hit double speed? Does this completely whiff on speed? Does this hit triple crit rate? On an amulet, does it hit triple accuracy? You gotta know these things when it comes down to really fine-tuning your gear. Once you get to like level 90 or so above and above on your account, you're gonna have to start doing your artifacts like this. If you're early game, if you just started a month ago, you're not gonna be at that point yet, but just keep it in your mind that at some point down the road when your account is endgame and powerful, you are going to need to see all the pieces upgraded so you know exactly what you're getting into and exactly what is gonna be good enough and what isn't. So what that will cause a lot of times is when I go to do an account takeover and I'm scrolling through and none of their pieces are upgraded, it makes it really tough because, an epic piece can either be really good or really bad depending how it rolls. So I have to kind of sift through and just do my best to sell some of the more obvious ones and then tell them to try to get to that point where they are going to be upgrading stuff to level 8 or level 12. And another benefit this provides is you can instantly see things that have made it through your filtration system and have maybe got onto your account wrongfully. So you can see that right here, I see these boots are unrolled. So that means it will stand out to my eye when I'm scrolling through. Like, that one hasn't been touched yet. And then I look at it, let me scroll my camera over to the other side. So then I look at it and I'm like, okay, so there's 6-star legendary percent boost, which is fine. And they've got 3 relevant rolls. So if this thing hits triple speed plus a defense, it would obviously be an amazing piece. So this is something that I'll upgrade to level 12 and see how it rolls. It didn't roll that great, and it's a basic It's a basic set, so that is something that I would sell. Even though this would be a great piece for like an early game or mid game, when you're starting to min-max, you can see I'm at 1285 out of 1300. I'm always within like 50 of being full. So the unfortunate thing about being in the end game is sometimes you have to sell pieces that have potential, pieces that are decent. You can't keep everything, or you're going to be permanently full on artifacts and you'll never be able to farm. So then I keep on scrolling, and you can see right here, this one has not been touched, so it stands out to my eye, and this is one that you would definitely roll. This is a really good piece for a defense set because it's got crit rate, defense, and speed. All of those are insanely relevant rolls, so definitely worth taking this one to 12. Hopefully you get double speed plus crit rate or something. Now, unfortunately, we missed speed right there completely, and we only got one defense roll on a defense set. So again, it's decent. It's pretty solid. You can glyph it up to 10 plus speed, and you got the double crit rate. So it's not a sell, but it did roll a little bit unfortunate. But it could be, it could make sense in the right build. But yeah, anyway, you see how it goes. I can scroll through here, and right here, we've got a helm that stands out. This would probably have to go at least double speed for me to even consider doing it. So we pop it up to 12, and yeah, that's going to be a sell. It's a crit damage piece, and it doesn't have crit rate or any stat that's going to be relevant towards help. You probably, on a crit damage piece, you probably want crit rate or crit damage on it. Now, if this flat attack was crit rate, then it'd be a pretty solid piece. But just hitting the 1 speed, that would be a piece that I have to let go right here. But that's why it's important to roll things. If that thing goes triple speed, it might be worth hanging on to and throwing on a champion at some point. And then, oh, here's another one. Here's a rare. So this is a 6-star accuracy piece. This is one that you'd probably want to take to 12. Could be a really good filler piece. It only hit 1 speed and it went flat attack. So even though that is a really good mid-game piece, I'm going to cut that one loose because I have to be more picky as we go. But yeah, the whole point is now you can see why that's important. So I'm scrolling through. Everything's upgraded, and oh, right here's a helm that stands out. Okay, attack percent on a freeze set is not very good, but again, it could roll well. And triple crit damage, that's got some potential. It's not going to probably make sense on a freeze set, but it doesn't have crit rate. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably not that great for a free set. I'll hold on to it right now, but it's going to be hard to find a roll for that. So you can see that this makes my gear cleansing process a lot easier, going through and being able to see those ones that really stand out to me, upgrade them, and then see if they're worth keeping. And I try to keep myself around 1250 or so. So right now would be a session where I go through and start cleansing things down to try and sell about 25-30 pieces and get myself down to that 1250 mark, because farming up 50 pieces is pretty good. You know, it's going to take me at least like a week or two of grinding to go ahead and get back up to full, because you end up in a point where you're very picky and you're only keeping like 5 to 10% of your pieces during your runs. And then also a couple of quick notes just to keep in mind that the sets and the different pieces actually have vastly different values. So some of your basic sets, like your HP, your attack, your defense, you're gonna transition away from keeping basically any of those. You're just gonna sell all of those and not even worry about them because they're not worth taking up the space. You can see that I slowly over time have less and less of these. I used to have like 3 rows of attack pieces, down to 3, and probably gonna have 0 here of all of these pretty soon as we keep grinding. And then also every piece has different value as well. And it actually gets more specific than just top versus bottom pieces, like your weapon, helm, shield versus your gloves, chest, and boots. Typically, people know that gloves, chest, and boots are a little bit more valuable because they can actually roll a main stat or a flat stat, which makes it a lot tougher to get good pieces on the bottom. For your top pieces, the main stat is always guaranteed. You're always going to get attack, HP, or defense. So it's a lot easier to find good pieces on the top row, which means the ones on the bottom row are going to be more valuable. But something else that you want to make sure that you consider is that helms are actually more valuable than weapons or shields. And the reason being is it's a lot tougher to find well-rolled good helms. And the reason is because helms can roll both attack or defense on the bottom substats, which means that you're going to get a lot more helms that roll flat attack or flat defense and stuff like that, because on your weapons, there can't be any defense rolled. You can't roll flat defense on a weapon. So there's one less option of a flat stat that can hit. And then on your shield, you cannot roll a flat attack. So because you can roll flat attack or flat defense, you'll get a lot more helms that are trashable and not good, because there is more flat stats that can roll on them. So a lot of times when you're going through someone's account, especially someone's account where they've got a set that they have a lot of, so it'd be like the sets that people, when I do account takeovers, the sets that people tend to have the most of would be Relentless, Cruel, Immortal, and Perception. That's probably like the 4 sets that people have the most of when I go through and do cleanses. So when I pop open the Relentless set, we'll see if this ends up bearing true. You can see that I've got 1, 2, 3, like just over 3 rows of weapons. I've got about 2 rows of helms and about 3, just over 3 rows of shields. So you can see that's bearing true. I end up with less helms on these sets that I keep a lot, because it's tougher to get the helms to roll to roll well compared to the weapons and shields. So just keep that in mind while you're gear cleansing. You want to be maybe a little bit less picky when you're cleansing helms compared to, you want to be really picky on weapons and shields, because weapons and shields are going to be what you end up with the most of. I would say if I had to pick one, people tend to have the most shields. So you want to be the most picky on shields. And then also, each set is going to have different roles that synergize well with that set. So for example, on a defense set, you're probably not going to want lots of attack on a defense set. It's very rare that defense and attack synergize well in raids. So that would be an opportunity for you to see, like, let's say you've got a helm and it rolls a bunch of attack. You probably are going to sell that, because if you're stacking defense on a champion, they get no value from attack. You don't get any toughness or any ancillary benefit from attack rolls, so it's going to be something that you want to get rid of. Now, if you've got a speed set, you want to make sure that it probably rolls at least hits speed once or twice to be a piece worth keeping. If it doesn't have speed on it, like this one over here on the far left, that would be a candidate to maybe get rid of. I kept that one because it could be a great piece for a champion like a seer. So you've got a champion that goes at the back end of your rotation, doesn't need a ton of speed, and I get double crit rate, double crit damage. That could be awesome for something like a seer, which is why I kept that. But typically on a speed set, you're going to want to keep ones that have speed on them for sure, and probably at least hitting speed on the rolls once or twice. And you have to kind of go through and know all of those different exceptions. Like let's see here. So you've got a set like Frost is going to be typically built on a tanky champion, like a Maui or something like that, someone that does provoking and then gets hit a lot. So you're probably not going to be building a nuker in the free set. So do you really want a bunch of crit rate, crit damage, and attack percent? Probably not. So the roles that you're looking for on a Frost set are going to be much different than the roles you are looking for on something like a Savage set. Because you always want to kind of be thinking, like, what champion's going to wear this, what stats is that champion going to be looking for, and then thus determining what roles you want on that piece. But there can be exceptions. A piece can be a godly piece, even if it's a broken set, because sometimes the godliness of a gear piece can outweigh the set bonus when you're just looking for like a filler piece. You've got like your 4-piece Savage build, and then you need 2 pieces besides that. If you've got a godly weapon that has like triple crit rate, 1 speed or quad speed or quad crit rate, that could outweigh even a minor set bonus. So definitely keep the godly rolls regardless of what set they're in. But if it's a normal epic or a normal legendary that goes like 1 1 1 1 and stuff like that, you definitely want to pay attention to do those rolls make sense for that particular set. So yeah, hopefully that is a little bit of an update to where my head is at currently when it comes to artifact management. I'm going to try to do another video about accessory management because it is a lot different than artifact management, because both of them get 1,300 pieces, but you get 1,300 slots, sorry. But 1,300 slots for 6 artifacts is a lot different than 1,300 slots for 3 accessories. So I'm gonna do, and it's also different roles. You got the whole accuracy, resistance, and the amulets, and then the banners are the only piece that can have speed and stuff like that. So it gets a little bit different on accessories. We're gonna crank out a different video updated here on the channel about accessory cleansing as well. And then also, definitely let me know what you think down below. What are your tips and tricks when you are cleansing your account? And if you agree or disagree with me on anything, I always enjoy reading those perspectives as well. So remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Raid Shadow Legends content. And as always, thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you soon in the next video. Peace.